All right, welcome in, guys. Back to another episode of the EPSL podcast. Sorry, we've had a little break here, but we're trying to get back in the swing of things, and we wanted to give you guys a playoff preview here as regular season winds down. And just looking at all the matchups, we're gonna talk to Bo here, break down these matchups a little bit, pick who we think's gonna win each one, and we're gonna talk about little end of the year awards, who we think is gonna be winning that MVP.
That's
Um,
everybody's question right there.
right, right. So let's get into it. So I just got the playoff picture up here on my screen for everybody to look at, and I just want to shout out the user teams. This is the first time we've had this many in playoffs before.
Yeah.
Pretty insane. One CPU team sneaks in for the Sarah Padres. I don't
Sarah's
know how that
repping the
happened.
CPU.
Yeah.
That's a seven
Let's
seed
hope
too.
they don't make it all the way. We had a CPU team in the final, the championship last year. I would
Don't
hate to
remind
see
me.
that again. But
I know. How do you
oh
feel
yeah,
about that matchup, man? That's
I
that's
don't like it
round
because
one. Like Sarah's got a good defense,
they have a great
statistically anyway.
defense, and I I could be wrong. I need to go back and check our schedule, but I think they beat us
Oh
in the
no.
regular season. So
No, 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 no.
I'm a little scared. I'm trembling in my boots here. But
Let me check the schedule. Hold on.
I'm pulling. Yeah, I pulled it up. We did lose to the Padres 31-28 back in week 11.
Oh man. This is your chance for
Yeah,
revenge.
I hope so, man.
The chance for the get back against Sarah.
I sure hope so. But yeah, we can start there. Yeah, we snuck into that number two seed after being behind the Pirates Cedar Creek all year, but we snuck in last
Honestly,
couple weeks, and I'll take it for
yeah,
sure.
no, I 100% agree. I think, and I don't know why it was like, out in the world, but for some reason, I think it was most likely an early, like this is what happens. I feel like we watch a team that we expect to be good lose an early season game or like an early game in the season, week 1 through 4 or whatever. And then we write them off, and then we hit this like mid-season lull where people are kind of in and out, and then that team, puts a few games together. In your guys' case, putting up a lot of games together, finishing a 14-3, and then clinching the 2 seed. So I don't know why, but I do. I get the sense that Ramona was somewhat written off and very turnaround because it was really just more of a dip, and you have a defending MVP, a quarterback in his senior season, in a game against Sarah that you're expected to win. I will see what the betting odds are, but I would be surprised if Ramona doesn't open as a 2-score favorite in that one. Um,
Yeah, don't jinx us there,
maybe.
please.
Hey
But
man, I said that about the Seahawks and IRL, and they ended up pulling it out soon. But yeah, I big props to Ramona. I'm really impressed with what they did down the stretch.
yeah, no, and I think we'll edge the Potters out in that one. Hopefully, obviously, I've had a decent season this year at quarterback. The big guy's been Bo. That guy, he's just been an absolute tank out of the backfield. And I think we're gonna be saying that a lot. It's been a very pro running back year this season.
Yeah, yeah,
And
we will talk about that for sure.
but yeah, at the end of the day, I think defense has been great. They definitely
Yeah,
carried us to several wins this year. So I think they'll lock it down. And yeah, I'll take Ramona in that matchup.
for sure. Yeah, defense has been better than people think. I mean, two
Mm-hmm.
top graded defensive tackles, top graded linebacker in Westfall. That list hasn't dropped yet, but he is up there. Believe you me. But then, yeah, also the running game. The running game for everybody, I feel like has been important. But yeah, give me Ramona by 20.
Yeah, and shout out to you making those lists, by the way.
It's fun, man. It's a lot of
I
fun.
know for everybody listening, he puts a lot of work into that, pulls all the stats and all that stuff, and yeah, so
I
appreciate you doing
appreciate you,
that.
dude.
but yeah,
Also a
I'm looking
quarterback
at.
pretty high on that efficiency list. If I
Yeah, I
remember
don't.
right, top five
I
quarterback
snuck
in
in there. I snuck in
composite
there. I had a
score.
down year, but yeah,
Compared to the
um,
MVP season, sure. But
yeah,
still taking care of the football, which is in this league, especially this season, seems like the most important thing. So I
yeah,
think that I would take that over production. I said that last year. I'll say it again this year. I will take a quarterback 10 times out of 10 who takes care of the football over, 5,000 yards, 45, 50 touchdowns.
yep.
That's just me though.
Oh, 100%. I think we mentioned that a few times last year in the MVP discussion with
Mm.
Murphy, who, moving on, we'll move on to Stat Cedar Creek
Speaking of,
matchup.
yeah, great
Speaking of
transition.
Murphy, I'm trying to pull the QB list. I need to fix
I
this
believe
channel
it
so that
was,
everybody's not chatting in it all the time.
I know.
But
I believe it was Newton, you,
either way,
Blackwell's
yeah,
on.
it's got Blackwell's up there, I'm sure. But and yeah, it's I'm getting there. No worries. But yeah, so we'll look at the next matchup. Number 3 seed IMG. How about IMG,
Yeah.
who are always written off, right? I think they had a lot of players transfer again. I mean, have we heard that before, right?
Yeah.
It seems like every offseason
Yes.
their whole team leaves. But the one consistent has been their quarterback, Hillcox, who
Nope.
has been leading them, and he's been there I think all for years and getting better every year. And he's leading them to number 3 seed they're going to take on Cedar Creek.
Nope.
And yeah, I've got the quarterback list here. You've got yeah, so Hillcox is our seventh ranked QB, taking on Murphy, who's down at 15. Um, but yeah, I think that'll
This.
be a good one. I, it's one of those where I think IMG just never gets the respect they deserve. And I think if you ask, 10 people, eight or nine of them are gonna say, yeah, that's an easy win for Cedar Creek,
Yeah.
right? Just because I don't know IMG just, but I think they have a really strong team. I think they've got a great wide receiver in Tiller.
Mm-hmm.
They've got solid defense. Kingman has been a great linebacker for them, the freshman
Mm-hmm.
linebacker. They're just a solid all around team. They don't have a bunch of standout guys, but they keep stringing wins together, and they got the 3rd seed. So
Yeah. I'm hearing you take IMG in this one.
I,
It's a little
I don't
non-committal, but
know.
it sounds like you're leaning IMG.
And here's the thing, right? When I say I'm leaning IMG, it feels like an upset, right?
I know it's
But
crazy as a
they're
three
the
seed
three
too.
seed
That's
taking on
weird.
a 6 seed, and I don't have the records up right now. I could pull them up, but I'm actually curious if they do have a worse record than Cedar Creek.
They do. They're 11-6.
Okay,
Cedar Creek 13-4.
so I mean, technically, it is a little upset, even though they will be the home team in this matchup.
Mm.
So yeah, I guess that's probably why it feels like it would be an upset because they are, I guess, on paper the worst team. But yeah,
Records can be misleading sometimes. So
oh,
you're so you got
absolutely.
to lock one in here. Who you taking?
Oh, I'm overdoing this. Okay, give me. I think give me I. Yeah, let's. You know what? Let's do it. Give me IMG for their
He's like,
first.
I
I
don't
think
want
their
to, but
first. I think it'll be their first
IMG.
playoff win
Kamish
in
taking
the EPSL.
IMG. Interesting. Interesting.
How do you lean on this one?
I got to. I think it's easy to look at the records and be like, well, it's. I don't think that's the full picture. I think there was a Week 14 game where IMG and Cedar Creek already faced off, and
Oh yeah.
Cedar Creek hung 47 on
Ouch.
IMG, and IMG put up 17 points. Give me the
Oof.
Pirates. I think the Pirates play in a better division. I think they've been playing against better teams. I do think Murphy. And I do want to put this disclaimer out there. I feel like Murphy gets a lot of maybe not hate, but doesn't get the recognition that he deserves in a lot of ways. Like, yes, he's leading in a lot of statistical categories. Yes, he's a gunslinger. Yeah, he cuts the ball loose, man. Sometimes that goes to the other team. It's just part of the game. But the one thing that you can count on him to do is put up points, is score points. And I think, I'm willing to live and die by that. So I'm gonna take Cedar Creek. I look back at their first matchup and it was just not even close. I don't think much has changed
Yeah,
since then. Um, so between now and then, um, yeah, give me Cedar Creek. I feel like that one's pretty easy actually.
I like it. I pulled up at passing stats here. Murphy ranked number two. He's got
Yep.
5,300 yards.
I know at a
He's got
5,000 yard season, you got to respect it regardless of,
absolutely.
touchdown interception ratio. That's a lot of production. And, shout out to Murphy because I feel like, especially lately, uh, he's been kind of getting dunked on a little bit. So, Murphy, I'm counting on you. I'm counting on you to beat IMG. It's me versus Prust. So, I'm really relying on you here.
Yeah, and I know you two like going back and forth with your
We do.
rankings,
We do.
and
All in
we
good
I
fun.
will.
All in good fun. I don't mean anything personally. And that's also, I want to include that's no disrespect to IMG whatsoever. To Hillcox's credit, he has done an amazing job making this team a contender with the amount of turnover that team has faced in the past 2 years. So I want to give him a whole bunch of credit as well for just being the heart and soul of that team and essentially willing them
Yeah,
to a 3 seed playoff berth this year. Hillcox, amazing job with the Ascenders and something that,
yeah.
like you said, I think this team nobody considers them to be um a threat. So I think if they win this game against Cedar Creek, there's a real chance that they'll be a tough out the rest of the way. But a big test, a really big test against a team that they've played before in the regular season. So as impressive as this season has been for Hillcox and the Ascenders, unfortunately, I think it ends here.
Yeah, fair enough. So we'll see which one of us is right on that one, and that might not be the only one we disagree on by the end of the video. But
That's probably true.
we'll keep moving on here. And next matchup is one you might have some interest in. 13
Mm,
and 4 Mater Day taking on 10 and 7 St. Francis,
yeah.
who they were going back and forth. It looked like they might not get in. They were going back and forth with De La Salle all season, like they always do. And I think it was week 17. There was a big matchup between those two, and they, you know what? It actually might have been week 18, and they just pounded them. I think it was like 30 something to 7. So, yeah, emphatic win for them to really just lock up the division and just make sure there was no doubts.
Yeah. Impressive.
But yeah, they've got freshman quarterback Darnell Reese, I believe is his first name, but Reese, who he's put together a decent season, and they've got solid defense. They've had some players leave, unfortunately, but they're decent. I'm trying to hype them up as best I can, but I'll just cut to the chase. I love St. Francis, and yeah, this is, I think, going to be a pretty comfortable modern day victory. So
Interesting.
I
Interesting.
think, yeah, and
Comfortable, he says.
I'm, I think comfortable.
Okay.
Yeah, you gave us the 2 touchdown lead over Sarah. I'm gonna give it right back to you. Um, but
Appreciate
no,
that, man.
I think it'll be a good matchup. But I think you guys just have way too many pieces. Uh, you guys have had a tremendous season. I think you guys felt like you got screwed last playoffs, coming back for vengeance with the vengeance.
Yeah.
You're at quarterback, top one of the top QBs in the league. Drew Barry, obviously MVP potential.
Mhm.
Kiesling, Palins has been great tight end, and your guys' defense has really struggled early in the year, but you guys turned it around and have
Definitely.
been just locking down players. So, um, yeah, that's where I'm at with it. I think it'll be a pretty comfortable modern day win
I
here.
hope so, man. I
but
hope
he,
so. I think no, I agree with you. I think the pieces as far as modern day goes are all in place. Uh, Drew Barry, historic season from a running back. I don't think we've seen anything like it, and I don't think we'll see anything like it again. And you'll continue to hear me sing his praises. But yeah, I mean, one of two seniors. You mentioned Kissling as well, who are just at the top of their game. And I think when we did play St. Francis earlier in the year, it was a 31-9 victory. Our defense did a great job against Dante Reese. And I just as impressed with St. Francis as I am. Again, it's one of those things that I think they're just a little young. I would like to see um, a little bit more development from them before I start consider putting them against some of these top teams in the AFC, um, in the conference. But I do think it'll be much more competitive than the first time these two teams played. Obviously, I'm going to go with modern day. I don't think that's a mystery, but um, I do think St. Francis is maybe just a season or two away from being a serious threat to what, the established order that we have in the conference. Reese among a couple of freshman quarterbacks that have just really contributed to their teams. Um, you know, St. Joseph's quarterback, Austin Green comes to mind. Bishop's to mind. So you have a bunch of these freshman quarterbacks that are just taking over their teams and
mhm.
putting them in contention for these playoff spots and to make a playoff run. It's really really impressive. But yeah, give me the Monarchs. I won't give you a score prediction. I don't want to jinx anything, but yeah, give me Mater Dei. Even as the 5 seed, and quickly, that division that they're in is the one with the 1 seed, St. John Bosco. Um, so I do.
Yep.
You see them as a 5 seed, but it's still a 13-4 team, whose two of those losses, by the way, came at the hands of St. John Bosco. So really, I think if we should be talking about any team to avoid for Mater Dei, it's the Braves.
Yep. And I was just gonna shout them out. Wrap up the AFC side of this playoff picture here by saying that yeah, the Braves did end up with that number one seed. Another very strong year. I think I don't know if you remember or not if they had the one seed last season,
They were the 2 seed last
but
season,
the
2 seed,
two
yeah.
seed. Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, they got the bye this year. See if it helps them. But shout out Newton again, who's
Okay.
been the glue to that team, and he's yeah.
Yes, really stuck through some adversity, and I think they've gotten better over the past 3 years, really, year over year, um,
Yep.
until this year. It kind of culminates in that 1 seed, and obviously you want to see what they can do with that. But I think they've proven it. I mean, they really have. There's some teams that I think get into the 1 seed because maybe a weaker schedule. They took advantage of some games that they were supposed to win, but not St. John Bosco. St. John Bosco has played against, some of the best competition in this league and have, shown themselves to
Yep.
be an absolute contender at every point in this season. Not the least of which Mater Dei, obviously, I consider them a contender. Beat them twice, beat St. Joseph, who's the 2 seed on the other side of the bracket. So really, I think there's just the potential for St. John Bosco to go to a national championship is there. Um, Now, obviously, there's some games left to play, but they've proven it, man. They've played some good teams. This isn't a fluke 1 seed at all.
Absolutely. And Bosco's like I put him in that category a few years ago as same as category as where like IMG is, St. Francis,
Hmm.
where those schools are where they were young, they had a lot of turnover,
Yeah.
and they finally got a little chemistry built, had the team stick together, and here they are.
Right.
A couple seasons ago we were talking about how Bosco was always bottom dwellers, but here they are, number one seed. So
That's right.
life 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 moves fast in
It's crazy
EPSL,
how
and
fast it can change. It does speak to the power of being able to keep your core of players together when that transfer portal opens. With the exception of IMG, if you have a bunch of players leave, it's really, really hard to have success year over year on a consistent basis. And I think St. John Bosco's finally gotten to the point where they're retaining that core group of guys and just making a run at it here. This is their chance. This is their I don't want to say team of destiny. This is their year, but I would say if there is a time, it is now.
Absolutely. Do you want to give your quick score predictions for each matchup, or
Yeah, I
go
got
for
you.
it? I'm gonna.
Ramona, give me Ramona Sarah. I'm gonna say Ramona 31, Sarah 17.
Oh,
Um,
dude, no way. That was the exact same score prediction I had for that game.
really? Hey, yeah, there we go.
31-17 Ramona.
Same page, same page.
So
This one will probably be a little different. I'm gonna say 38-21. No, 38-24 Cedar Creek.
you're going 38-24. Okay, I'm gonna go 24-17 IMG on that one. Be
Oh,
low
interesting.
scoring.
Okay,
Yeah,
keeping a low
close
score.
game.
They're gonna contain Murphy, is what you're saying.
They're gonna get a couple picks.
Oh, okay. Good pick.
I called it last year. I'm calling it again.
Yeah, that's true. That
Murphy, a
was
couple interceptions gonna
gonna do
cost
in the
them.
Pirates. Okay.
And this one, modern day St. Francis. What are you going? Do you want to do it or you?
I don't want to do it. I
Okay, we'll skip.
well, you
You
did
don't
your
have
team,
to.
so you know what? I'll do mine. I'll stand on it. Give me 34, 34, I don't know, 34-20, modern day.
34-20. All right, I'm going 34. I like that number, 34. I was thinking that. I'm going 34-17. I think.
Okay. Pretty similar
I'm
there, eh?
going. I'm going 34-13.
Oh, okay.
I'm
Well,
sorry, St.
just taking
Francis.
points
I
away by
love
the
you
second.
guys, but yeah, stinking. Um. So yeah, that'll be. We'll see how that. I'm gonna be watching those closely. I want
I
to see
know,
how
yeah.
close we
Now I
are.
feel like I'm very invested in the AFC.
See how well we know the league.
It's
As we
gonna be
as we
completely
move
different. It's
here.
gonna be a bunch of
Oh
like
yeah,
13-6 games. It'll be
it's
great.
been a high scoring all year, but yeah, playoffs it'll be this
It'll flip,
lockdown
yeah.
defense. So we'll move to the NFC here, and we start with this is a pretty juicy matchup. We got so all user teams on this side, so it's
hmm
pretty cool to see that. Three pretty juicy matchups. We'll start with the number two seed St. Joseph,
Yep.
who were the obviously champs last season, taking on the number seven seed Buford Wolves.
hmm
And I was joking with Drones about how he's got playoff PTSD. Um, I love
Honestly,
Jones. I love Jones, and they've had an up and down season. Not very convincing. They've got a nice team mix of seniors with younger guys. Obviously with Cambridge at tight end, they've got James wide receiver, solid running back in Blackheart,
yep.
and then obviously Cairo Jones at quarterback. Defense is younger, and we've seen kind of them get exposed a little bit. I think this is gonna. I'm leaning St. Joseph on this one as much as I would.
You want to do it, don't you?
I do, I do, but I can't. I can't see a way that Buford pulls this one out, unfortunately.
Oh man.
But for all the Buford fans out there, can you change? You got anything for him? Any positives, or you?
I do. I do. I do. You know what? Um Playing St. Joseph twice a year. I mean they're or not, I'm sorry, not twice a year. Yeah, oh yeah, they do play them twice a year.
Oh yeah, they're the
Um
same division. I
Same
just realized
division,
that.
yeah. I think they're
Yeah.
this is a familiar opponent. And if you look at week one, they played St. Joseph, lost 38-17. Okay. Uh,
Okay.
and then later in the season, they make some changes. They come back. Week 15, they beat St. Joseph 45-31 en route
Mm,
to winning four of their last five. I talk a lot in these broadcasts about momentum, playing well at
yeah.
the right time. Buford checks those boxes. And not the important thing to me is okay. We realized what we did wrong in the first game. We made adjustments. We win the second game with them. Awesome. Now, who wins the most important is the postseason matchup. Who wins the most important one is the team that's playing better at the time. Give me the Buford Wolves with the 7 seed upset against the 2 seeded St. Joseph Spartans. I think they're putting it together at
Wow.
the right time. I'm gonna do what you didn't want to do. I'm gonna put myself out
All
there because I
right.
could hear it in your voice. I know you wanted to, but you know what? Looking at the schedule down the stretch, I do think that Buford deserves a lot of credit. They have played in some really, really tough games. Their schedule, I mean, they've got obviously St. Joseph twice. We talked about that, but they also had Folsom, Mater Dei, Northwestern, the San Bruno, excuse me, Bishop Gorman, Cedar Creek. They have played nearly every user team, it feels like, in the league. And yeah, with some
Yeah.
mixed results. Most of their losses, though, coming early in the season, with the exception of Mater Dei, who hung 45 on them. I won't stick on that. But um, in the back half of the season, they beat Folsom. They beat St. Joseph. The only loss that they had from week 12 onward, essentially, was the number one seeded St. John Bosco. So I think they can do it, man. I just looking at the schedule, looking at how they're playing down the stretch. Give me Buford.
I love it. I love that. And like you said, I think they might have played the most user teams. It feels like they have,
Tough. Yes, tough
and
schedule, man. And to
that
come
might
out of that
explain
with,
the.
10-7,
Yep. Yeah.
like you said, young defense. You do have some great pieces, some really highly graded tight end. Um, and then also some players on the defensive line, also pretty highly graded. So
Yeah.
they've got the right people at the right places, and I think this is one where nobody's going to see Buford coming, and
All
I
right.
could
All
look
right.
absolutely ridiculous for this, but I'll stand on it. Drones, I got you, buddy.
I love that. Um, you can still change your mind. I'm gonna show you
Oh no.
Joseph Scott Duckworth, number 2 right now, ranked running back in the league, who's been,
Yeah,
an
it's true.
absolute beast all 4 years. And then Mikey Carter, who's the freshman wide receiver at St.
Yes,
Joseph.
highest graded receiver
He
there is
has,
in the
yep,
game.
he has been pretty insane this year.
Yeah,
And to consider he's leading in yards by almost 100, leading in touchdowns. And he's got 10, almost 12 less receptions than the number 2 guy,
mm,
almost 20 less than the number 3 guy. So he's doing it, with less targets. It reminds me
efficient.
of Nitro.
Yeah,
Reminds me of Nitro from Nitro had that insane season a couple years
so
ago or
weird.
whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know what happened. As he fell off a little
bizarre.
bit this year, but
You
all
do,
right. So
Carter.
what was that?
You do make a good point. You do make a good point. But a season ago was the first time that St. Joseph got over that playoff hump, and they don't have what they had last year in an MVP quarterback.
MVP quarterback.
They've
Yeah,
got a
100%.
freshman quarterback, and he's done wonders for them this year. But I want to see him perform in the postseason. I haven't seen it to this point, and to be fair, I really haven't seen it from Jones either. But I think we'll see it next week, this week.
All right. We'll see. Well, we're gonna come back to this, and we're gonna see if you're right.
Okay.
Let's do quick score prediction on that one before we move on. St. Joseph number 2 versus Buford number 7.
Mm.
What did I pick? St. Joseph. We're going 31. We're going to go 31-28. Could be
St.
real
Joseph.
close. 31-28 St. Joseph. Yep.
Okay. I think it's going to be high scoring. I think it's going to be
Ooh.
48, 42.
Ooh. To
Buford
Buford, right?
48. Yeah, Buford 48, St. Joseph 42. Just to make it
My golly. Yeah.
even more interesting.
I love that. We want some fireworks. We
I
need
know.
some
Yeah.
fireworks.
You gotta, you gotta just put this stuff out there into the universe and manifest it,
I love that. Yes, absolutely.
I want the
So
drama.
moving on. Yeah. moving on here, we've got number 3, Folsom, who look a little different than they did 2 weeks ago.
Oh.
Taking on number 6, Northwestern. Good for them making it.
Mm-hmm.
That is a first time user team here in the EPSL,
Yeah,
the
inaugural
Northwestern
season
Bulls.
playoff berth.
Yep. Shout out to
West.
West, who's led them there, and they look a little different too. So they, oh, that's interesting. That's quite a matchup now that I'm thinking about that. So
What are you thinking about?
their user running back is now the quarterback for Folsom.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
that's which and obviously we were talking about how they both look a little different now. Um,
Yeah.
Folsom's quarterback got expelled, and they brought in a midseason backup, Jason Breeze, now starting at quarterback for the Folsom Bulldogs,
Got
who
expelled.
had, gosh, how did he do last week in his first start? They
That's a good question.
they won. They won. Let me see if I can pull the schedule up here. Uh, gosh, I know they won, so I mean that's
51 to
good for.
45.
Oh my, yeah, I remember Marcelo was having a heart attack watching his defense in that game, but yeah, he put up 51 points in his debut game
Yeah.
in week 18. So if you're gonna put up some points going into the playoff matchup in your, you know, first game, that's one way to do it.
Right.
But yeah, this is gonna be a good matchup. 12-5 Folsom taking on 11-5 Northwestern, and obviously, so Northwestern still has a strong running back. He didn't get nerfed just due to the circumstances of everything. But
Mid-season, yeah,
but
that's tough.
yeah, so he's still there. He's just not the user. But yeah, Northwestern in a pretty tough division with Centennial,
Mm-hmm.
DePaul,
Mm-hmm.
Folsom obviously in a tough division too with San Bruno. But yeah, this is tough. I really could see this going either way. Northwestern with West, and they've had kind of a revolving door at wide receiver. I think I'm gonna give this one just to the team that's got a little more consistency throughout the year, and the team has been pretty much the same squad throughout the year and the past couple of years. And Folsom, I think, was the number 1 seed last year.
Yes.
Yeah, they get a big hit with the quarterback change, but we see Breeze looks pretty competent. And obviously, it's only a game. It's a very, very
Pretty small
small,
sample size.
yeah, sample size. But
I trust him.
gosh, yeah, I think I'll give it to Folsom. I think they got a great running back in Marcella. They've got
Yes.
a couple solid wide receivers, uh, pretty strong defense. So I think I'll give it to Folsom in a close one. But obviously,
Mhm.
we saw that their defense actually might not be as solid as I remember.
Yeah.
I do
I
want to shout out. Sorry, real quick, I do want to shout out their cornerback Randy Johnson, who has 9 interceptions, which is insane.
insane. Insane.
Almost double-digit
I was gonna
interceptions on the
talk about
season.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, holy, that's pretty sweet. So good for him.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen a cornerback excel like this in the EPSL like that. So that's pretty cool stat. I just want to shout out to whoever's listening out there. But
Agreed. Yeah.
yeah, that's pretty cool. So
I know Johnson with 9 interceptions. I don't know if a corner has ever won Defensive Player of the Year. At least
right.
not that I can remember. There have definitely been candidates, but I don't think there's been a corner to win it. And to be honest with you, I don't want to say it's Johnson's to lose. I would say if I'm a voter, I look at that corner season, a good corner season in this league is 5 picks. That's like, all right, you did a good job. You did your job. So to almost double that,
Yep.
it's impressive, very impressive. As
Yeah.
as far as the playoff matchup goes, I think Again, I don't want to seem like I'm just doing this to disagree with you. I really don't. But give me Northwestern, man. Give me Northwestern. Give me West. I know he lost his running back, and we talk about how important running backs are, but the Bulls, like you said, playing in a division with Centennial, the number one seed on the other side of the NFC side of the bracket, um, got absolutely blown out by them. I will preface it by saying in week two, and I think you know where I'm going with this, but in week two they get absolutely blown out, 55-17. Their season turned around on that day. They
Little
went
reality
on
check.
exactly. They go on after that game to win 5 of 6. Then they go on another winning streak to win 4 of 5 later in the season. And they do close out the year with 2 losses. One that I'm very concerned about to Clovis East. Um, but if
Uh-oh.
you notice, the week 18, I know, Clovis East flashbacks. If you notice, the loss to Centennial in the final week of the regular season, they only lose by 8 points, 21-13, trending in the right direction. Now, I won't say they have the momentum that Buford has, but
There's that word.
that shows me they can play with the best teams in the league, you know? And I truthfully, after watching that game, and might be controversial, if you're a Centennial fan, close your ears. But after watching that game, I felt Northwestern should have won that game. I felt Northwestern, was kind of on the bad end of some of the things that happened in that game that were just kind of unlucky, that were kind of fluky things. So I think it's very realistic to say that Northwestern could have split that series with Centennial. And for that reason, and for the largely for the quarterback change midseason, I do think, Breeze did a good job in his only start. Threw a few interceptions, and it's a young guy coming in the playoffs. I just can't trust that. I just can't trust it. But I do trust Emmett Marcella. I think Marcella, if Folsom does win this game, I think it is on the back of Emmett Marcella. You saw in Week 18, he had almost 30 carries, 200 rushing yards,
Ooh.
2 touchdowns. So I do think if the path to victory for Folsom is through giving that young man the football, former offensive player of
Absolutely.
the year, especially with a freshman quarterback, you have got to lean on Marcella. If you're Folsom, I think Northwestern wins it in a very close one, but Northwestern is one of those teams that I think is sneaky better than people think. They do have some suspect losses, which concern me for this pick. Clovis East and Basha, for some reason, they drop a Week 12 game
Basha.
at home
Wow.
against Basha, 27-20. So that's not ideal, but
Two
um,
and 14 Basha Bears.
that's right. That's right. One of the
Oh
worst teams in
man.
the league. I don't love it. I'm not saying I love this pick. I'm not saying
I
that
don't.
I'm doing
You're.
this with gusto or confidence, but I think Northwestern
Yeah.
just sneaks by the freshman quarterback
Okay.
in Folsom.
Fair enough. What's your? Give me your score prediction.
I was hoping that wouldn't come to this.
Oh yes.
I'm gonna say 27, 27, 24.
Okay.
Northwestern.
Pretty low scoring. I'm going. I'm going high scoring on this one. Just watched Folsom give up 40 something plus.
That's fair.
Um, I think it's going to be back and forth. It's going to be not aren't going to be many punts in this one. I think it's going to be. Give me gosh, what are we doing? 45.
Oh,
Let's go 45 Folsom. 30. Let's go 45. Mm, 38 Northwestern. I think.
Northwestern.
I like 38 for Northwestern, 45 Folsom.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha, gotcha. Yeah, I
Um,
am looking back at Folsom's schedule, and there are
I
not many
think
games that they scored 20 points. If there's maybe one. They're scored 30 plus pretty
right.
consistently. So,
That
but
was with Bartlett. So we'll see
yeah, exactly.
if they, if it's a quarterback thing or if it's just the whole offense can continue on
Yep.
despite the little change in quarterback.
I do want to say too,
But
Northwestern
yeah,
did beat Folsom for what it's worth.
okay,
25-24,
okay.
week 15.
So they held them week 15. Okay, that was not long ago. So that'll be interesting. Yeah, we'll see. That'll be a good matchup. I'm curious to see how that one goes.
That
And
one's
moving
fun.
on to
That's a
our,
fun one. I'm really
yeah,
excited for that.
absolutely. Ollies are gonna be great, man.
Yeah,
When you have two users going at it in win or go home time, it's pretty awesome.
absolutely.
So moving on to our last one, uh, Bishop Gorman, who I think are a sneaky little team with a very good freshman quarterback in Akers. Who and I know you look at the stats more than I do. I think he's had a nice season,
Yeah, great season.
taking on obviously former MVP from a few years ago in their inaugural season in the EPSL, the San Bruno Land Sharks. So good for them. Shout out
Yeah.
them making playoffs in their inaugural year. Um, but yeah, another team with, gosh, I feel like that team is ice and just everyone else, right? It's like, ask me who's
Yes.
on the team. I probably couldn't name a whole bunch of other guys. It seems like they've been pretty solid. They've had a little turnover, just players leaving and new players coming in. But the one thing that remains consistent is Ice, who's an MVP level quarterback.
Hmm.
Hank Hill, who Hank Hill's been there 4 years. He's a very very good halfback. And then yeah, a bunch of freshmen. They've got Hollow at tight end, who's always I know he's putting up big stats. He
Yep.
seems like he's always just hanging around the top of the tight ends. But gosh, yeah. Other than that, it's just a lot of defense is relatively young. Wide receivers are all freshmen. So yeah, but if you've got with Ice Hill and Hollow, you've always got a shot, right? And then you look at Gorman, who, like I said, yeah, Akers has put together a nice season. I know he was leading the league first half of the year, maybe kind of leveled out a little bit toward the end of the season, but got a great running back in
Hmm.
Brady Jr., who's been an absolute dog back there.
Yeah.
And then, correct me if I'm wrong here. I think they've got the top ranked edge rusher on their defense.
They
I think
do, yeah.
Harrison, right? So
Harrison.
he's a freshman, so he's been uh, just absolute beast this year. So they've got weapons on both sides of the ball.
Hmm.
Very very young team. I'm looking here. It's like they've got one senior, the rest are freshmen and sophomores.
Super young.
So
Yeah.
yeah, super young team. They've shout out to them. That Bishop Gorman used to be a very solid team. All their seniors left, and they have built this whole basically all freshman team, which is been really solid. So good for them. I think it's a good matchup here. I'm giving this one to Gorman though. I'm gonna give this one to Gorman. I don't know if we can agree on a single NFC matchup, but I'm gonna give this to Gorman.
Yeah.
Um, I think, and I don't have their both team schedules in front of me, but yeah, I'm giving this to Gorman. I think it's gonna be not crazy high or low scoring. I think it'll just be kind of middle of the pack game. Um, what's your takes on this one?
Yeah, they match up pretty well, honestly. I think San Bruno, you mentioned, is like kind of ice, and then everyone else, and I do have the same feeling like in his senior year. I do have the same kind of feeling, but the truth is, I mean, even just scratching the surface of these composite grades, I mean, they have a top five tight end, top five defensive end, um, and I'm sure there are more names that we just got to get through the rest of the composite grades, but um, San Bruno, I think, is a more, not a complete team by any means, but more put together than people realize, and a lot of that, a lot of credit to Hill and to their tight end Hollow that you mentioned, but they also have a top five defensive end, so. It is hard. It is hard, but I am also going to go with Bishop Gorman. We will agree on this one.
Hey, there we go.
Yes, yes. I think what Brady has done in his freshman year is just beyond impressive. You mentioned Harrison, but another sneaky kind of addition to that list is Jabuz Chase, the wide receiver. He's
Yep.
top he's top five as well. He's in front of Tiller. We talked about Tiller from IMG, but um, really impressive what he's done, given Akers an outlet, somewhere that he can trust is going to come down with the football. And I do think they match up well. I think it'll be close. I think it'll be relatively low scoring. But I do think that Gorman wins this one, and I think towards the end at least it'll be somewhat comfortable. But um, I do. There's just too many weapons, I think, especially for an incomplete team. We talked a little bit about that the last playoffs when we were looking at Corner Canyon. Kind of the same thing,
Oh yeah.
It was kind of the same
Yep.
thing. It was just Ice and Hill, and I think Sleepy Hollow was on that team as well.
Yeah,
Um,
he was. Yep.
and yeah, I think you saw what it cost them in the postseason. You can't go up against these user opponents and expect postseason success when you have these holes on your roster. And I think the same thing happened with the move to San Bruno. We have um, some holes on the roster, and I think it's going to cost them in this one. Give me Bishop Gorman
All right.
thirty-eight
Yep.
26.
38-26. Okay, that's a little higher than I'm going Gorman 27, 27, San Bruno 24. Gorman with a walk-off field goal to win it
Gotcha.
as the
The
clock
walk-off
winds
field
down.
goal. Man, you got San Bruno battling it out
Yep.
there, huh?
I think so. Yeah, I think when you got ice, there's always a way it could happen.
Yeah.
And then let's wrap that NFC up with a quick shout out to Centennial, number one seed, one loss on the year
Yeah.
versus St. Francis earlier in the season.
Oh, was it St.
But yeah,
Francis? Right.
it was St. Francis. Yeah,
Oh,
that was a big upset at
I
the time. St.
didn't
Francis kind of
know. I
strung some
didn't
wins
know.
together. Yeah. Is that scaring you a little for your
Yeah,
matchup?
wait a minute. Wait a
St.
minute.
Francis versus modern day.
Wait. No, I'm
but
confident.
but yeah, Centennial, who they were a original sick or one of the original EPSL teams, took a break, and this is now their inaugural season. I don't know if you can call it that, but back in the EPSL as a user team, so good for them.
Hmm.
They are very young, but they do have Blackwell, who's MVP runner-up last year, and probably another MVP candidate this year
Yeah.
um, at quarterback, and
Yeah.
a very strong offense and a very strong defense that they built. Filled it up with a bunch of freshmen and sophomores, but yeah, these guys are all buddies and they know each other well. They've got great chemistry, so they have just been absolutely locking teams down on defense. And then you've got Blackwell and Goat Jackson, who has had a really good season at halfback. Um, Tarkov,
Yeah.
great tight end. So, I mean, yeah, it's a lot of great players here. I think they deserve the number one seed, one loss. Anytime you only lose one game, credit to you. And I know you were talking about Northwestern kind of closing the gap on them, but yeah, they're a really real strong team, and I think they'll go far in this uh, the playoffs this year. I think we're looking at probably
Championship far or
I, I think NFC Championship
yeah,
minimum
okay.
for me. Um, but yeah, so quick shout out to those guys.
But you think that's the ceiling?
Ceiling is for sure championship. I
Oh, okay.
think floor for these guys should be the NFC Championship, right?
Yeah.
I think anything less than that's got to be considered disappointment.
Yeah.
I mean, potentially anything less than just being in the championship itself is probably
Yeah, well said.
disappointing.
Well said.
But that's what you're striving for, right?
Yeah.
I think. So yeah. I don't know if you have anything you want to add regarding Centennial, but
I think, yeah, quick and succinct. The Centennial's the team to beat in the playoffs. Centennial's been the team to beat, excuse me, all year. And I don't expect that to change really. I would say even at the beginning of the year when scores were just going absolutely crazy, stats were going absolutely crazy. We couldn't really get a handle on offensive production. There was one defense that was holding teams to under 30 points, even under
Yep.
20 in some cases. And I know that sounds crazy to say. You're going to be like, "Wow, that's still a lot of points," blah blah blah. But you know, start of the season, you don't understand. Okay.
Yeah.
Very,
Yeah.
very impressive what their defense has done. We talk about the offense like you mentioned, MVP candidate in Blackwell, Tarkov top three tight end. Um, but I think the defense doesn't get enough credit for what they've done this year. I mean, a couple of games where they're just holding teams to 3 points, a couple of games where they're holding teams to 7 points. And they're user teams, you know? Um,
Yep.
so I think the defense for me is as good as the offense is. That's not to say the offense is bad, but the defense for me is really the important part of this team because we've seen teams with a good offense, modern day, score 40 points a
Yeah.
game and lose because their defense allows 50 points a game. So especially in the playoffs,
Yeah.
give me the defense. Centennial is going to be a tough out. I don't think that there's a team really that stands out to me on that side of the bracket as someone who could, just come in and dominate them. If it is gonna be an upset, I think St. Joseph maybe has the best chance, but I have them losing against Buford. So I think I
Yeah.
think Centennials is is the like you said the championship berth is expected at this point. Looking at that bracket and just kind of up and down, the changes that have happened to some of these teams. There's really no excuse for Centennial not to make the championship, but I do think the team to beat them is going to come out of the AFC. Um, in my humble opinion, when I'm just looking at this, on paper.
Yeah. Great. I know you've got a. I know you've got. We got to wrap this up. You got to get going.
I do, yeah, unfortunately. But it was
We
an
will.
absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me on.
Of course, we will get into our end of year awards on another podcast. Before you go, really fast, I need your championship matchup
Ooh,
real fast.
real
Yep.
fast.
I
Okay.
don't need it. Yeah, no, no, we don't need any breakdown or nothing.
No
Just
breakdown.
lay it on me.
Modern
Yep.
day Centennial. You heard it here first.
All right. I'm going Ramona Centennial.
Okay, yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense. It checks
Yep,
out.
of course. All right. All right, Bo. Thank you for coming on, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate
no
it.
worries. No
Love
worries.
chatting with you. Love your insight. And man, good luck in the playoffs. I'm excited to
Likewise.
get this going.
Likewise.
All right. Have a good one, man. Thank you to Bo. I'll wrap this up here. Thank you to Bo for coming in. It's always great having him on, chatting stats. And thank you for everybody listening as we get into the playoffs here and one heck of a season. Good luck to all the teams and EPSL commissioner out.